if you're watching this video, you are in for an absolute treat today, because I've got a very, very special guest who's going to actually work with me for the next few videos, and he's one of the brightest boys I've ever met. In fact, he made me remember, when I met him, he made me remember when I was 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, how my grandfather, who was from French extraction, his name was Pope Guillemette, he took me in the garden at the age of 3 and started teaching me about gardening, especially organic gardening. On top of that, he had 80 chickens and about 12 roosters, so the whole place was organic. So we were eating, at the age of 3, I can recall we were eating fresh eggs, fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, because my grandfather was growing it. And that stayed in my mind forever. So I knew when I met this young fellow I'm going to introduce you to, I knew it was like me being young again, and me in my 70s now, like my grandfather, and I'm teaching him the benefits of organic gardening and how extremely beneficial that can be. You don't have to go to a doctor once you understand organic gardening. The whole thing keeps you fit. So I'm going to introduce you to this special guest. His name is Harrison, Harrison. I met him in my front yard, at the front, and what he told me was just mind-blowing. Remember this, like I was about 70s, in my mid-70s, and his 60-year-old, right, this 60-year-old, looked at my garden. He looked at all the flowers and all the trees in the front. It took me 8 years of work. And you know what he said to me? I wish I could live here. And I was like, wow. Say that again? He said, I wish I could live here. And I said, why do you say that? And in other words, I was thinking he's not happy at home. And he said, in your garden, you've got beautiful flowers, you've got beautiful trees, you've got the brickwork, it looks absolutely beautiful. I wish I could live here. And I said, what about at your house? He said, oh, they're not into gardening. My parents are not into gardening. And they've got artificial grass, and they've got concrete at the back and cement and so on. But that's them, right? But I want to understand gardening. And I said, how would you like me to teach you proper, top-class organic gardening? So here he is, without further ado, Harrison.
Hi.
Tell them about yourself.
So I live like a couple doors down, and when we first met, I think I was riding my bike, and then I said, hi, I like your flowers and plants, and then we became best friends.
That's right.
And then I got a couple of plants from him, and then we're talking about plants for this season, so then we can stay healthy.
Yeah, and you remember I gave you some tomato plants, some little cocktail tomatoes, and do you remember what happened 2 or 3 months later? You actually got a whole batch of cocktail tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, and you sent me a picture on WhatsApps, and you said, these are the tomatoes you gave me. Remember that? Right? And you've never tasted tomatoes like that before, have you? They're sweet. Yeah, you're really good, weren't they? You remember what you did? You sent the photo with your hands like that, and your hands were full of tomatoes, and it was from 3 plants, right? And you got more tomatoes later. Yeah.
Like Ronald's tomatoes. Like when I first tried one, my mind just went, wow, mind blowing.
Isn't that delightful when you get someone responding to so positively to a really good vegetable, right? True. So today I'm going to give you an explanation why. There's got to be why you should garden, especially garden organically. You see, right now, your experience probably has been with fruit or vegetables or herbs. Your mum and dad go to the supermarket, right? And they buy the vegetables there, they buy the fruit there, but they may not be organic. And sometimes they're like 2 weeks old, 3 weeks old. So you're eating food that's got no value, right? Whereas when you grow your own food, like we did with the tomatoes, remember? when you grow your own food, you are getting food that you know is no pesticides, no insecticide, no fungicide, no poisons, right? And that's why you are going to be so blessed to listen to what today's sessions are going to be about, because you're going to grow up and then you're going to become a brilliant gardener. You see? And then your family, because you're going to become a brilliant gardener, your family, your whole family, your kids are going to benefit enormously. Does that make sense?
Also, when I wanted to grow my own, like, I thought me and my dad could go to B&Q and get some, like, wood planks.
Yes.
And build them, like, Mick.
Yep.
He had, like, some squares.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I remembered...
Mick is one of the neighbours.
Yeah. I remembered
Yeah.
that, hold a minute, Ronald, over the road, has some plants. So I thought if I take some from you, then I can grow my own plants.
Yes, exactly. Did your dad do that? Did you do the bed?
No, he didn't. We were like, I was begging my dad all the time, and then we didn't get to go. So I thought.
Well, all the more for you. Okay, but then eventually, when you get to a decent size, you'll be able to build a garden like here. You probably get even better than this. But now I want you to imagine this: you're going to be a father one day, right? And you're going to have kids, right? Like your mum and dad have a kid. You're going to grow it. You're going to do it. And then imagine the knowledge you're going to pick up for the next 10 years with me and with Patrina. Imagine how good that's going to be for your family. Can you see what that means to you?
Like if you was like still alive then when you got married and we had kids,
yes,
then you would, like, I would come to yours,
yes,
and my kids, and then I'll say, this is my cousin from when I was a kid, and he gave me some plants.
Yes.
And then I'll show you some photos, and then then they can get some plants from you, and you can, and then you can do some videos with them.
Exactly. Now, I'm very interested in what you said. You said, if you're still alive, right? That's a very interesting observation. Now, why did you say if you're still when I'm married and I got kids? If you're still alive, what do you say?
Because I just thought about that word, not another word.
Yes, but do you think I'm going to be getting older?
No.
No.
I just think you'll just be. I don't know. I just not like getting old. I meant just like.
Yeah, but maybe incapable.
Yeah.
Like
capable.
No, let me tell you something. I'm in my mid-70s now.
Yeah.
10 years from now, 20 years from now, I'll still be alive, and I'll still be in good shape. Do you know why? Because every day I eat some form of organic food. You see the power of it? Now you see some people die at 50, 48, 35, because they from the time they're born, they eat rubbish. You know what I'm saying? They eat rubbish, and what happens as a result is that their body gets older quicker. But when you feed your body good food every single day, 2 or 3 times a day, you can go to 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 110. There's a guy in America, there's a guy in Brazil, I checked him out. You know when he died? 130 years old. And I've got this whole program. You know what he did? Why he lived so long? Every single day, his granddaughter, fed him organic food for breakfast, lunch, and grown in the garden in Brazil. Organic food. 130 years old. At 128 years old, he was still picking cotton from the cotton fields. How's that? Is that?
You're just mind blowing.
Well, there's the thing. You see, I'm almost 75 now, almost. So, but when people meet me, because of the way I've exercised, made my mind work positively, and so on and so on, people think I'm 55. They look at me and they think I'm 55. They always say 55. Sometimes I get 60. So I look about 15 to 20 years younger than my actual age.
You don't look like it.
Exactly. I don't look old, do I?
No.
And that's truthful. You're not flattering me. You're telling me the truth, right? So imagine at your age, you're now 7.5. Okay, you'll be 8 in March. Imagine what I'm teaching you now, and you start to follow that. How young you are, that means you've got a fantastic chance to live till at least 100. Imagine that. You can just get fitter and stronger as long as you eat properly the way I teach you. Does that make sense? Right? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you a chart, right, about why you need to follow my advice. Okay? Now, in the human body, that body of yours, that body of mine, that body of Katrina, you've got 11 body systems. 11 body systems.
So 10 and 1 equals 11.
No, it's 11 body systems all up, right? 11. That's 11. Now, one of the ones we put a lot of attention to is a digestive system. You get it? You've got a respiratory system, which is your lungs. You've got your cardiovascular system, which is your heart and your arteries, right? You've got the digestive system, which is when you eat your food, what happens to it. You've got the immune system, which fights against viruses and colds and flu. So all this system rely on one major system, which is the digestive system. You see, it's like the engine of your car. No engine, the car doesn't go. You get it? So when you understand the digestive system very early, right? And I'm going to ask you a very interesting question in a minute. When I show you this chart, I want you to tell me whether the school has taught you this, your school. Because you're almost like 8, right? I want to know whether your school has ever taught you this system. Okay? Now I'm going to show it to you.
Also, to keep our ribs safe, you also need a rib cage to keep our
correct.
ribs safe.
That is what I call the osteo system. Like we know with your bones, your rib cage, right? Your bones in here. This to do with this holding you up. That's where the muscles get stuck on, right? That's called it's called the muscular system as well. It's like I said, 11 system. So here, if I do that, that is probably one. It's not the complete system, but it's one of the systems of the 11, and it's called the digestive system. Now watch carefully. What you see here, forget that bit. What you see here is exactly what's inside you, inside Petrina, inside me.
Around everyone in the whole entire world and in
Everyone.
the UK.
Exactly.
In every country.
Every country, whether you're black, you're white, you're yellow, whatever, you've all got that. You've all got. If you haven't got that, you're not going to live.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens is, I'm going to explain to you. That's your esophagus. That's when you eat. So esophagus goes in the stomach. See, that's the stomach there. Now, don't get mistaken. In England, they always do this. They always say, "This is my stomach here." You know why they say that? Because grandma, when you've got a sore stomach, right, you say, "I've got a sore stomach," she says, "Oh, your tummy," and she pats your tummy. She calls it a tummy. You see? So she says that, I'll soothe your tummy because you're sore. Wrong. That's not the tummy. Your tummy's up here. See? That is the tummy.
Yeah.
Get it? Stomach.
That's the tummy, but
Yes.
I thought like this whole entire part here
Yes.
is the tummy.
No.
It's only
This
that.
is that. Only that is the tummy. Only that. You see that? See how you picked up? So that's your tummy.
the only belly. That's the belly.
That's your belly. That's what you call your belly. Now, well, we call that the stomach, to be precise. Now, below it, when your grandma goes like that, it says, "I'll pat your tummy." She's patting your intestines and your small intestine, your large intestine. You get it? So, how it works, very quickly, you eat your food, it goes down here, and it lands in the stomach. The stomach transfers it to the duodenum, and then to the small intestines, which is that one there. That is 35 feet long. And then from there, it transfers here in the ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, and out. So when you eat here, the top, your body uses the energy to give you energy, build muscle, build brains, whatever, and then the waste comes out.
So
Right?
like it's like a roller coaster in a like in a body.
Yeah, exactly, and it's got to keep going.
But a roller coaster with food.
That's what. You got it. Very good. Very, very good. That's a good point. Good to have. So that's the digestive system.